Thursday again. Get in. It comes around so quick. How are we all? Good?
All good, mate.
Superb.
Super.
Ready to go.
Superb.
I'm
Now
good.
that's a word.
I'm in your neck of the woods tonight, Andy. Well, you're old. Where you was from?
Your next where?
I'm in Glasgow.
You were?
I'm in
Glasgow.
I'm in Glasgow.
Your neck where?
You're in Las Vegas, and have you been Glasgow? Have you been out for a few sweet sherries?
Yeah, I did. I went out. I worked really hard today, so I went out to the best restaurant in Glasgow. I went to TGI Fridays, and they got this new Guinness. They got this new Guinness machine. Like you can only buy they give you these draft cans, and it only works if you put it in this machine. So I put it in there, and then the glass tilts itself, so you get a perfect pint every time. And the first one weren't that good. I was like, the pint wasn't perfect. So the second one, I tried that still weren't perfect. So I tried the third one, and by the third one, they were just getting there. But I had to leave because I had to come and sit down with you guys. So
third time's a charm.
So surely you've got to go back and try again, mate.
Well, you know what? Yeah, look, we've got someone in the chat. Charlie looks half cut.
Hey,
Benjamin, how are we?
Benjamin.
I'm not. It takes a bit more than 3 Guinness to get me half cut. It's probably the amount of Greggs I've eaten today. It's probably the amount of Greggs that I've eaten today. I had a Greggs sausage roll for breakfast. Then I had a Greggs sausage roll
not sponsored
in a buttered roll, and then a chicken bake, and then I had a nice dinner.
And then another buttered roll.
But how are we though? How are you two? All right? You been good?
Fantastic. Yeah, no complaints. Absolutely no complaints. I've been looking forward to tonight. Work has been just work as normal, but yeah, ready to go. Glad Tom made it. Glad Tom's here.
It was cutting it fine, wasn't it, Thomas?
I was, mate. I'm groovy, baby. I have had a good day, to be fair. Work's been all right. I've been down to the station, sorted some bits and pieces out. I'm glad to be here with you two, gentlemen.
Well, I can see that the chat is absolutely buzzing this week. It's just us in it. We've got Andy in the chat. We've got Tom in the chat. We've got Andy again in the chat.
That's me.
We've got the one, the only, the Mr. Triple G, the geezer.
Triple G.
Absolutely. We have not quite mint again. We've got You Promised Me Comics off work early again so I can watch. Attention, geek, Ben, and we have
Charlie. Yes,
Latoya Morgan.
Hey. Yes, Latoya.
Thank you so much for joining, Latoya. I know you're probably busy, but it means a lot having you on here. So thank you so much. But I think we should just get into it. Like we've got the new section, haven't we? We've got the killer pickups. So Tom, do you want to go first?
Yeah, cool. So mine are all my own books this week. They are on notquitemint.com if you wanted to buy any of them, but they are my own comics. So I've been collecting the Miles Morales 10th anniversary covers. So this week we ended up with Thor, which is quite a nice one.
That's a nice cover. That one.
It reminds me a bit of the J. Scott Campbell one that happened a few years ago, which was the Avengers cover, where they're all out in the snow playing. I think that's quite nice. The Wolverine cover, which is quite smart, which I like. Yeah. I'm pretty sure, I think I said this last week, they're all the outfits he wears in the new PS5 game, I think. That's the Spider-Man one from Spider-Man 74, which is quite a nice one. I quite like that it's a bit of a take on the that thing where they sit, the New York building one.
Yeah.
I quite like that. There's the Miles Morales Spider-Man one, which is quite nice. Got the old Scooter delivering pizzas. I mean, why would you not be delivering pizzas with Gwen? I mean, that's pretty cool. And then this is my favorite one so far, which is the Black Cat one. I just like how badass Miles looks with the leather jacket on. I just think it looks pretty cool.
I quite like Black Cat as a character, but I've never really gotten into any of her comics.
Yeah, no, I've not read much of it.
I keep thinking that she's Catwoman. Remember I made that mistake?
Keep thinking she's Catwoman.
Yeah.
And then the piece de resistance is I got the first appearance of Dr. Aphra.
Pew, pew, pew. Nice.
Darth Vader
did manage to get it.
I did. I'm sending it
was
off
looking
for a
out
clean
for
and press, and then I'm taking it with me to Thought Bubble because I'd like Kieran Gillen to sign it for me.
Cool.
And that's that.
Nice.
Oh, actually, I'll tell a lie. I also got the first appearance of Ahsoka.
Of course you did. Dropping bombs on a Thursday. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's in really bad condition. But it's mine, and I want it, so it's good.
Charlie, see in future, can we make sure that Tom goes last? Because we've absolutely no chance in this.
I definitely think he should do. I mean, Mark Oldroyd has just jumped in. Welcome, Mark. So he's jumped in. They all seem to jump in when Tom's about to show his collection of what he's picked up this week.
Everyone wants to see what I've got, mate.
We've got Dave Collects. Yeah. Welcome, sir. The one and only Fuzzy Dunlop. I hope you are recovering, sir. I hope you're doing well from the dreaded Rona. I hope you're all good. But yeah, look, Latoya loves your sweet selections. Awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Legend.
Yeah. Tom, fuck off, mate. There we go.
Thanks, Dave. I am actually going to do that.
But yeah, Tom, you always seem to get a decent. It must be because you own a comic shop. It must be.
Basically, yes, mate. To be fair, because I've got my eyes on lots of different, like, not just eBay. I've got I'm on Gumtree. I'm on a lot of I think it's Whatnot. Is it that Andy you recommended to me? Whatnot. Yeah. I'm on Spock as well. I mean, I got that one from Spock. The first appearance of Ahsoka is from Spock, and it wasn't that expensive. Yeah. I bought the whole lot, issue 1 to 12 for £100. So it's all of them. And I'm going to send issue 2 and 3 off to get CGC'd.
Do you show any of your comics on your OnlyFans?
I do, mate. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of I dance with them a little bit, and then I cover everything up with it, and then I remove them at the end of the show, and then it stops before you see anything, just because it's not that impressive.
And do you know what? Like, Tim's just joined in. He said Tom's just closed the show with those books. There we go. Look, we've literally closed the show before we've even got started. But I mean, yeah. Look, I mean, and we've got a new person in the chat, and this is Stefan. I used to work with him at Belstaff. He left last week. He's a work colleague, and he's massively into his retro gaming on his PS Vita and stuff like that. So yeah, give him a follow over on Twitter because he's constantly doing stuff. So thanks for joining us, Stefan. I hope you are well, mate. We have Mr. Captain Comics. Ahoy, mates and mermaids. I hope.
Where have you been the last few weeks, mate?
Where have you shipped ashore this week, sir? And then we've got Shut It Down. Look, they're just shutting it down. Look, Tommy just shut it down. Andy, do you want to go next?
No, okay. I don't want to go next. I will. I've only got one to show off.
I should have gone next.
It's a CGC that I picked up from Limited Edition Comics.
Nice.
And this is Star Wars Bounty Hunter.
Ooh, nice.
Number 1. And this is the Turini Virgin Edition.
Let me make you big, Andy. Look at
that. Look at this bad boy. Marco Turini cover.
That is amazing.
I couldn't resist it. And big shout out to Limited Edition Comics because they sent it in absolutely bomb-proof packaging. And I was super delighted. And yeah, so happy to add that one to my collection. But that is literally all I have. That I thought I was dropping bombs this week, but clearly Tom had other ideas. So
hold on. So Tom's absolutely killed it. You pulled out a CGC 9.8, and I've got that one. Right. Okay. Right. So I've been travelling this week with work. Yesterday I was in Manchester. Today I'm in Glasgow. Yesterday, when I'm in Manchester, I make it a point to go to Travelling Man because Travelling Man is such a great comic shop. The guys in there work tirelessly, keeping things in order and stuff, like all the comic book shops doing stuff. But this, I loved it. They have their pound shop long boxes. So I had a quick little look. So number 1, I picked up this for £1, obviously made in Korea. Number 2.
Yeah.
I've already got this, but I was like, I can't turn it down. It's number 2. It's Jeremy. He's our friend of the show. So I thought, yeah, why not pick it up? It's only £1. And it still is a great cover. Then I picked up, this was £1 as well. This only came out 3 weeks ago.
Nice.
So this is Harley Quinn, the Eat, Bang, Kill tour. Love a bit of Harley Quinn. There you go. There's a spoiler there. And then I got the variant cover as well.
Nice.
Just
You do
because
love yourself.
I do love my Harley Quinn.
You do,
Right.
mate.
You do love a bit of Harley.
For those of you who know me, I also love my Scotty Young.
Boom. Nice.
So I picked up this.
I've not seen that cover before. That's well smart.
Honestly, nor had I. And I was going through the long box and I was like, Scotty Young, I've got to pick this up for £1.
Smart.
So now these were all in the £1 bin and I was surprised about that. Ha ha, number 4.
Oh, cool.
Haha.
Ha ha. Ha ha, number 5.
I bet you were laughing when you took these to the counter.
Yeah. And
Do
then
you have these, Charlie? Do you have these?
I've
Yet?
got them, but that was £1. So, and then to top it off, as I was looking through Ha Ha, I spotted on the shelf the trade paperback
Oh, very smart.
of Ha Ha, and it is. This is going to be my read on my plane journey home from Glasgow. But this was, I couldn't turn it down, and I think like traveling man, I'm going to go to a shop. Is it A1 in Glasgow, Andy?
Yeah, A1 Comics and Palm
Yeah,
Street, Glasgow. Yeah.
I'm going to head there tomorrow, and just have a little wee look. But yeah, it was another good week. To be fair,
Nice.
it was.
Nice. Tom wins. Tom won.
But yeah, I think it does look nice, Andy.
That'll be it.
It would have been cooler had you gone first. There we go.
The story of my life.
Thank God I'm not on this show anymore with this new segment. Can't compete. And we have the Padawan Collector Hile. So I mean, it's really good. This collection. This start of the show. I like it.
I can't do any more because they're my 2 grails. I've got them, and I don't have any money.
I need to step my game up. I thought this was just a nice new segment, a little bit of banter, but what I'm feeling here is there's a little bit of competition between the 3 of us. So game on.
We're going to be setting budgets next week. You can't go over like 100 quid.
Yeah. Oh, we definitely should.
I'm skint this week because I've just bought this.
We definitely should put a budget on it.
Oh my God. But yeah, so that's our killer picks of this week. We've had another good week, to be fair, haven't we? Let's be honest. But we're going to do something else different this week because we are just going to push. We're going to push everyone's favourite comic shop. Obviously, it's not quite mint.com. Tom, do you want to talk us through this?
Yeah, so we've got some bits and pieces going on notquitemint.com at the moment. So the December pre-orders are now up. So you can get any book that you'd want for December. Just head over and pre-order them. The October stuff is still available if you want to pick up some pre-orders for October. The November pre-orders are still up. They are coming on to final cut-off order. If you join the mail list today, you'll get a full list of the final cut order for this weekend. Venom issue 1 and Hulk issue 1 are on that list. So if you want those books and you want to get them from me, then head over to notquitemint.com and get them ASAP. Also, we've got the Slaughter Crate, which comes out in October. So basically, this is going to be 6 comics. You get 1 trade virgin. 1 exclusive virgin. You get 2 trade exclusives. You then get 2 random comics, and you also get the well-anticipated House of Slaughter. 1 in 10 boxes will get the 1 in 10 variant, and 1 in 25 boxes will get the 1 in 25 variant. And if we manage to sell out all 50, one of you will get a 1 in 50 book. And on top of that, there's going to be art prints from myself and from Aquamints. My exclusive print for this is of Erica Slaughter. So if you haven't seen it, head over to my Instagram and you will be able to see it. And you can use Geeky 10 to save yourself 10% off anything in the shop. And it isn't limited to 1 purchase. You can keep going back and do it again.
Oh, talk about the shop that just keeps on giving. But then you've got that, and then you've also got this as well. Is it not? Why is it not changing over? There we go. Look at this. This is shocking. It's not working. There we go. Look at the time delay on that.
Well, the time delay was great, mate. So this is me stepping up a little bit for the next crate, which is the November crate, which is based around Power Rangers and Hulk. So you get a Power Rangers Universe comic and a Hulk comic, plus all the others you would normally get in a crate. And this time you don't get 1 print from me. You get 3. You get a Hulk print, and then you get 2 Power Ranger prints as well. And also, because I've got quite a few bits of free comic book day merchandise left over, there are some goodies going to be in both this crate and the Slaughter crate. That I just want to give out and give to you guys because you're all really good customers, most of you anyway. But yeah, you can all use Geeky 10 to save yourself 10%. And yeah, please share. If you buy anything from me and you're happy with it, please share your happiness with people on the internet, Instagram, Facebook, all of it, just so people know where I am and they can come and get stuff from me if they wish. And if you aren't happy with it, shout out to me and tell me what you would like me to do better. I mean, that would be also really useful. Yeah, and anything you buy, make sure you do the whole hashtag the Killer Comics Show as well, so we all can see what you've got from Not Quite Mint.
And do you know what? I think the things with these boxes is that they like you get some mystery boxes and stuff like that, and you get some rubbish in it, and then it counteracts it with some good stuff. But with the fact is this, it's top quality. I'm not just saying to the Killer Comic Show, but it is like, and I think everyone that's received or everyone that's bought a Not Quite Mint crate will agree with it. Like it is awesome stuff.
Well, I'd hope so. I mean, at the end of the day, you're getting £60 to £70 worth of comic books for £35 posted, which is quite a rarity to get, really. And I would like to be able to give you guys these chance to win these variants or get some of these variants you might not necessarily have got, and also you get a chance to read books you might not have read or thought about reading before. I mean, I think one of the crates I did, everyone got a Homesick Pilots issue 1. So if you haven't read it, at least you've got issue 1 to read, and you got it part of your crate. So it was quite a nice thing to do.
Oh, but it is awesome. It is definitely awesome. So then we've got that, but then we also have this. I hope he's still in the chat. I hope the Hobgoblin is still in the chat because.
Nice.
That is the first time I've seen that intro, man. That is freaky as hell.
Took me a little while, but Tim did say to me when I said it to him, he was like, "It's a little bit too long, so I'm going to shorten it," and he did, and it was really good actually. Once he shortened it, to be fair, I should have sent that one to him.
But it does look good though. Like obviously, so the Hobgoblin Hideaway, they've got their first year anniversary live claim sale over on Facebook. Tim Plume and his missus are absolutely killing it. They did a fantastic one a couple of weeks ago. I think it went on for like 3.5 hours a couple of Saturdays ago, and it was awesome. But they've got more key comics, they've got more giveaways, and they've got more of their snoring dog. If you did watch the last one, you'll understand the dog. I think the dog got tired, and you could just hear him snoring his little head off in the corner while Tim's running around doing all the claim sales and stuff. But it is good. It's interactive. It is good. Like I think claim sales are really like doing it now. And Tim's put up pictures on his Instagram and Facebook of the comics that are up for grabs and stuff. So if you definitely do have time, check it out from October the 1st at 7:30 p.m. I think it's going to be a good one.
It should be. He's got that math comic I'm after. Definitely going to jump in and try and get that back.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And in fairness, we only recommend things that we actually use ourselves. So I've bought from the claim sales from Tim and the service, the packaging, and absolutely everything is absolutely spot on. So I'm really looking forward to tomorrow night and spending all the money.
Yeah, same.
If
I have any money left, then.
You can't have no money left. You've dropped 2 growls in the space of 2 weeks. So
that's it, mate. I've got nothing.
If it ain't Charlotte putting you on a timeout, I think we're going to have to, so someone else can buy some comics.
Unless Tim's up for a trade.
Exactly. But so that is the first anniversary live claim sale over on the Hobgoblin Hideaway Facebook page. Check it out. Go for it if you want to buy yourself. If you want to get some comics, you want to get some key comics, you want to stay and forgive. The way that they do the giveaway is really good because they don't know, and then they pick up the comic, and then there's like a little star or a little tag on the back of the comic, and then Lucy rings the bell, and then it all kicks off, and then the lucky person wins a giveaway. So yeah, it's really interactive, really good. And I think
also get to see Tim's sexy face during it.
Yep, and I think on average he does about 20,000 to 30,000 steps.
He's back and forth constantly.
He is, honestly.
He likes sipping the old vodka when he's doing it, which is quite cool, quite entertaining as he gets on the way through.
But he has quoted, I did see, I watched the rerun the rewind of the little unboxing that he did the other night, and he did say that he's looking forward to going on to the early hours of the morning. So bring your beer, sit down, bring your wallet, and buy some comics because it's going to be a good one.
See you there.
Yep. Or bring your tissues if you're going to cry because you can't afford anything.
Exactly. But obviously, up next, it's the continuation of...
I will never get tired.
I was going to say, honestly, I don't think I ever will. The fact that I just picture Mr. Bean every time, every single time. And they timed it perfectly because Firehawk's just joined.
Firehawk!
And Comic Book Weekly. How are you doing, sir? Thank you very much for joining. So, Andy, it's over to you for this part of the show that we've been doing. I think this Thought Bubble's been running for 7 weeks now, 7 or 8 weeks now.
Has it been 7 weeks already? Wow.
That's crazy. 7 or 8 weeks. But who have we got this week?
We have the one, the only Zoe Thorogood. And this was one of the ones I was really looking forward to putting together because I've been a big fan of Zoe's. I've been trying to pick up all the covers that she does. And as soon as I realized that she was going to be at Thought Bubble, I was really, really pleased. So it's maybe not a name that you've heard because it's maybe one of the ones, you know, we've talked about Scott Snyder, we've talked about, you know, Jock, we've talked about a few of the other guys. But Zoe is one that you should definitely be checking out. And hopefully once we go through some of the covers, you'll either recognize them or you'll realize that you have to go and pick them up. Because as soon as I started collecting them, it was one of those ones where as soon as I found out there was another one coming out, you start to build up a bit of a Zoe Thorogood collection, to be fair. So yeah, I think maybe we'll go into the next slide, and what I'm thinking we'll do is we'll just look at some of the covers that she's done, and then look at our book that she has out at the minute, and we'll go from there.
Just before we go on, what she's been absolutely killing it this week is on Instagram. She's been doing live IG videos, and she's just been drawing, and it's been really great to see what she's been doing and how she does it. But it's good to see how what she's actually doing is progressing live. So we've seen 2 or 3 panels and pages as she's doing it, which is really good. So it's good to see the thought process and how long she talks about it. And I've got to say, I've never heard the word fuck sound so poetic.
You're absolutely right. You totally. And see the detail in the live shows that she does as well. It gives you a much better appreciation because when you see what the original looks like and then you compare it to what you're obviously buying in print, it's absolutely fantastic. So what I would ask everybody to do, it's either in the live or going to be watching this in the rewind. You'll see Zoe's Instagram there and her Twitter. If you go and follow her, if you're not already doing so, and just let her know that you found out about her through the Killer Comic Show, we would appreciate that.
Thank you very much. So yeah, so if we just do what Andy said, we'll have a look at some of the covers that she's done, and we can kind of go from there.
Yeah, now there's quite a few guys, quite a few. So if anybody in the chat's picked these up, then definitely let me know. So first up is Origins issue number 1. And this was an exclusive. Now I know that Zoe does quite a few exclusive covers. They're either maybe like 1 in 25s or the store exclusives. So these might not be covers that you maybe instantly recognize or knew were available. But this for me is one of my favorites. A great series as well to pick up if you haven't read it. Have you guys read Origins?
No, I haven't
read it. No, I wasn't sure if we'd picked up. Yeah, I wasn't sure if we'd picked up as part of the show, but it's definitely one to. I think it's only 6 issues this particular run. So, but yeah, the detail in this picture, particularly the female form that Zoe does is absolutely spot on, and in particular the eyes as well.
Yeah, the eyes,
beautiful, absolutely fantastic.
But you know what she's also said? She's not the best at drawing lines. Like she literally just lets the pen go. And when you watch her live on Instagram, that is so the case. Like I've never seen someone draw a line so unperfectly perfect. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
You know if that makes sense, because I couldn't do something like that because I'd be like, I need to get that straight, and anything I'm doing needs to be perfect. Whereas I couldn't do that. I couldn't draw how she does, and it comes across as perfect as it is.
I only think you actually appreciate that whenever you actually watch those live shows as well, because you see the original. I would imagine a lot of the covers that we actually pick up are probably, they've been worked on ever so slightly, whether it be digital or otherwise. But no, it's superb.
But yeah, this was Origins #1 2020 from Boom Studios. Boom can do no wrong.
Absolutely. Next up, Crowded issue number 11. This was a cover B. This was in 2020.
Oh, mate, that little chihuahua is cool as hell.
How amazing is it? It's absolutely fantastic. And the thing is see when you look at all these covers, you'll actually see there is a sort of you'll be able to go away and tell a Zoe Thorogood cover, which is kudos to Zoe.
That's so cool. I like that cover. I really like that cover. I like all the little details, like all the stickers and the can, and it's really cool.
Yeah, it's one of those ones you can have a look at and then look at it again, and you'll probably have missed something the first time that you looked at it.
I've only just noticed she's not got a gun; it's her hand. That's amazing.
Exactly.
That's cool. I just didn't know. Yeah, that's good, isn't it? And then the dog's got a butter knife in his mouth. But I mean, yeah, what is this comment? So Charlie and Vita look for safe harbour in a community of reformed culturalists and militant nuts, and with their new romance in full bloom, everything is coming up, Charlie. What could possibly go wrong? That sounds good, like that actually really sounds good.
I haven't read this series, I must admit. It's not something that I've picked up, but whenever I was doing these slides for this, I was intrigued by that little synopsis, so maybe it's one we'll pick up and have a read.
But I think based on the last comic, Latoya's right. Boom Studios are killing it. They really are. There was a certain artist that did a comic that we'll touch on later. It was pretty decent. It weren't too bad.
It was.
Homesick Pilot. Some of these covers are incredible.
I absolutely adore this series.
Yeah, me too. I really I actually didn't know this existed, this cover, until I was sitting doing the slides. So this is one of the benefits of doing these slides and for the last 7 weeks, because the amount of covers, the amount of books that you just don't realize is there. So yeah, Homesick Pilots. This was Dan Waters' story, and I'm sure a lot of people have picked this book up, but this was issue number 7, so quite a recent pickup.
If you get this comic, this cover, you'll be able to get it signed by both Dan and Zoe at Thought Bubble.
There we go.
Why would you not do that? Why would you not?
And then what you could do is you could actually get it CBCS through our good friend Tim.
And you probably could get, is it Casper, who does the interior artwork? He could do your signature as well. So you get all 3 signatures on this book and then do it through Tim. Get CBCS.
Why not
CBC? Yeah.
CBBs.
CBBs.
We are just dropping knowledge. And yes, Dark Blood is pretty good. It is. It's all right. It's okay. It's all right.
Stick around, you'll find out what we thought.
Exactly. Yeah. Next up, another great series. This is Eve by Boom Studios, and this was the last issue of Eve, issue number 5. This was a cover B, so this wasn't an incentive or anything like that, as far as I'm aware. But I believe there was a black and white incentive cover of this.
Yeah.
And written by, I've got Kieran Gillen there, but that's not right. I think this is it Victor Lavelle?
Victor Lavelle, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I know we're just like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
What he said. We read issue 1 of this, I believe, for one of our reviews, didn't we? So
I've read all of them, and I've really enjoyed it.
I'll tell you what. Sorry, mate. I think this is a bit of a slow burner. Issue 1 and 2 wasn't that keen. Once you get past issue 1 and 2, it is actually a really good story. And I did what Charlie did with this one. Once I'd read issue 1 and 2, because I read them like each week, each month, and then it got to issue 3, and I was like, she's really good. When issue 4 came out, I read issue 1, 2, and 3, like Charlie does each week, and it actually made it a lot easier and much better to enjoy if you do it that way.
It is, honestly. And do you know what I think? Like Comics Talk Weekly, Phil said, I had no idea these are all her covers. I'm a fan of a lot of these titles, and I think this is the beauty of doing this segment, because again, with Kieran Gillen last week, a lot of people didn't know that some of them comics he wrote, and as Phil just said, a lot of these people don't know that she did these covers. So this is why I absolutely love this segment, because before you sent through these covers, Andy, I didn't, as Phil did, I didn't know these were her. I didn't have a clue.
Yeah, and that's exactly why we're doing it, and hopefully this will, whenever you are in your local comic shop or you're picking up books and you see these up in the rack, then you'll pick them up and you'll keep an eye out for any of Zoe's other work. So that's why we're doing it.
Yeah, definitely. This one. Now I've been reading. It's slowed down again. What's going on? There we go. I'm blaming the Wi-Fi in a hotel in Scotland for that one.
blame Scotland. Now this one for me is one of my favorites. I just love the detail and the simplicity of this. And this is from the good people at Rabbit Comics. This was an exclusive they put out. And if you aren't a fan of Rabbit Comics, then definitely go and check them out on Instagram and on Twitter. I've bought a few books and got them shipped over to home. Again, Boom Studios, and it's Proctor Valley Road, issue number 1. Again, this is another cool series. Again, a little bit of a slow burner for me, but it definitely started to pick up in the later issues.
I love this comic. I really, honestly loved it. I like the fact that it kind of had elements of all the old 80s films, like growing up and stuff. And it was wicked. It was a slow burner, but it was really, really enjoyable. It's one of them comics you could just sit down and read it, and there's nothing to it. Do you know what I mean? It was enjoyable. Yeah. But this cover,
really cool covers, including this one.
It really did, yeah. This is wicked. You can really start to tell her style, though, can't you?
Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. Especially the line work, you can definitely tell. I don't know if this is sold out, but if you definitely go into Rabbit Comics and have a look, I'm sure they'll probably got a few copies.
Do you know what her art style reminds me of? Do you remember the Men in Black cartoon TV series? Don't remember that? There was a Men in Black cartoon TV series on Cartoon Network or Fox Kids. It's very similar to that. Like, it's really quite basically just not perfect lines, but it really works because it's really stylized. I think it's really, really smart. I'll try and find a still to show you that we can share.
You go for it.
I think with a lot of Zoe's covers that if it's complemented well by a good colorist, it definitely it makes the cover pop. And I think specifically this one, just with the green background, and the last one that we looked at for Eve, you get a really good colorist to complement this work. Then I think it absolutely is spot on.
With the green, I think this would have looked awesome as a foil cover. Like, it would have looked amazing. It would have really just popped. But again, it's Boom Studios again. They can do no wrong.
They can do no wrong.
This one is key.
Next up, and I believe this was open order, so this was cover C for the Department of Truth issue number 9, and I'm sure everybody's reading or has read a few issues of the Department of Truth. And again, this is another cover that you could take to Thought Bubble and get James Tynion and Zoe to sign. It is spectacular. I love it.
It is. Like, I read one of them and I kind of switched off. I couldn't get into it, but some of these are just pure cover pickups. Like this one, I would just pick it up because it's awesome.
Yeah. Is it issue 2 that's got the really controversial story in it?
Number 3, issue 3.
Number 3, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I sort of drew the line with it a little bit, because I gave issue 4 a go and it just wasn't keeping my attention. But I've heard a lot of good things for some of the later issues. And it might be one of those ones we've said it a lot of times on this show, is that you buy it as a trade paperback and you read them all at one time, because it's maybe one of the ones where you just have to sit and consume it all at once as opposed to one at a time.
But this is another amazing cover that she's done.
Like,
Bayuk. Ice Cream Man. Come on. Wow. Issue number 25. Again, much to my ignorance, I didn't even realize that this existed. This completely passed me by. And I remember some of the other covers for issue 25, because it was kind of a milestone issue for Ice Cream Man. And this was open order again, as far as I'm aware. Cover B, the fantastic writing by W. Maxwell Prince. And this is just, Zoe's imagination just ran wild with this one. It's fantastic.
That is awesome. That's a great cover. But the next one, this one is where I really, really found out about Zoe Thorogood. This
No
was
way.
well, actually it was this one, but it was the second print.
That's cool. I didn't know she did this one. That's quality.
The second print, it was the pink one.
That's
that
right.
was the one that I was like, this is amazing. That was awesome.
And the interesting with this one, it was obviously the cover and the interior art was by Zoe as well.
Yeah.
And I know that this was one of the books that we'd reviewed.
Yeah.
And that's definitely, that was one of the ones where I was trying to go and find out a little bit more about Zoe and the other work that she'd done. So yeah, another fantastic issue. Another great cover.
I love this.
Do you know what I really like about this is that the fact that she's looking in the mirror, but then look at the mirror on the table as well. Like it's the exact like to get that similarity of both. Something like that is just amazing.
It's the attention to detail as well. If you look at the right hand side, the flowers that are on the right hand side, you can just imagine how long each one of those leaves took to do the line work. And I think that's when you get a better appreciation for the work that she does.
It is amazing. It is another, like, she seems to just be pumping these out. Like, there's not a fault at all. Not at all.
Yeah. So this one is due out in November, but I thought I'd put it in just because it's such a fantastic cover. This is Life is Strange, and this is the issue number 2 of the Settling Dust arc. Again, it's not a book that I've been picking up, but because Zoe's doing this cover, and this is cover D. I don't know if this is an incentive cover, but it's through Titan Comics. If you go do a quick Google, you'll be able to see it, but it might be one, if you want to pick it up, to get in touch with Tom or your LCS, and I'm sure they'll be able to get it to you.
I'll find out after the show if it's an incentive.
Honestly, this is wicked.
Yeah, I like that. The haha
this
one's my
one,
favourite so far.
This is quite different, to be fair. It doesn't look like Zoe Thurgood's work.
Yeah, so I don't think all of this is Zoe's work. So I think you'll see here it's Hal McCarr, Pina, and Zoe done some of the interior work for this particular. So I think this was a graphic novel, like a one shot. But whenever I was doing a wee bit of investigation to see the other work that she'd done, this cover sort of jumped out at me. And yeah, I think she'd done some of the interiors for this particular book.
It does look good though, like it does. And I think on the previous one, like Stefan said, there was a comic of Life is Strange. And he said the game, obviously it's based on the computer game. The game series is fantastic. Yeah, it is a great cover and a great comic, to be fair. It's a great comic to get into, and it does kind of cross over with the computer games and stuff. So if you haven't read that, Stefan, definitely jump into that. Zoe is meticulous with the detail, and yet it's still simple to understand. Love that style Zoe has. I think she's one of the best artists for covers out there at the moment, I'd say. Like what she does and how she does it with the attention to detail and the simplicity in it that looks so intricate and everything like that. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely not. I don't think she's as widely known as she should be.
No, not at all.
But I think this is the time to get in on her books and on the work that she does, because before, once she becomes really well known, then all those books will skyrocket in the aftermarket. So yeah, definitely somebody I'm looking forward to meeting at Thought Bubble.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
Definitely, I feel Thought Bubble is going to be good, because I've got quite a few of these covers that I'm looking forward to getting signed. So I'm just going to have to do the old tape around the box from where to sign it.
I've got some. They're like blue window boxes. So they're like proper comic sleeves, but they've got like a flap on the front that you open, and then it's got like a little window in it. I've got plenty of those. I'll bring them with me, mate, and then you can swap them over into that and then get them signed.
Sweet.
That is.
Constantly giving and bringing the greatness.
I'm a giver.
Last but no means least.
Yeah, this is the one that I haven't picked up yet, but I do plan to. I might even, hopefully Zoe's going to have some of these at Thought Bubble and I can get them signed. This is The Impending Blindness of Billy Scott, and this was a book that Zoe brought out through Avery Hill Press, and it was written, the interior art and the cover art is all done by Zoe. I'll maybe just read the synopsis to give you a feel for it. So Billy Scott is an artist. Her debut gallery exhibition opens in a few months. Within a fortnight, she'll be completely blind. Zoe Thorogood's first graphic novel is a story about what it is like to get something you want, have it immediately taken away from you, and then how you put it all back together again. Set in a world of people down on the luck from Middlesbrough to London, it's a graphic novel that speaks of post-austerity Britain and the problems facing those left behind.
Nice.
If that doesn't sell it, nothing will.
I really like this cover because it reminds me very much of old school Japanese anime with the whole like the dot. It's got a specific name. I've forgotten what it's called now, but where they've used dotting to shade rather than shade it. It's like a two-tone. I think it's called two-tone. But yeah, I really like that. I'm sold already just by the cover. Yeah, and then that synopsis really did it for me. Yeah, excellent. I'm in. Get me one now. I want it signed now.
Jeremy said this was such an incredible graphic novel. So yeah, I think this is definitely one I'm going to pick up. I should have looked for it yesterday in Manchester when I was there. I was like looking through like trade paperbacks and stuff. I should have given this one a look.
It reminded me of one of the panels in The Me You Love in the Dark. Do you remember one of those panels where she's drawn on that's what it reminded me of.
Just going to say goodbye to Comet Deal. Like our good friend Sean the Noob, my visit tonight is short and sweet, but I'll catch up on the old Craig David. Have a good show.
Cheers, I typically work out what that meant.
Pointillism. Is that a word? Pointillism?
I don't know. That's not the one I was thinking of, but that may be what it's called.
Maybe. That is a great cover. That is. Honestly, I think there's not one cover there that you would think, okay, but they are all great. And if you guys in the chat haven't watched Zoe's live streams over on Instagram, I can't suggest them enough. It's really strangely therapeutic to watch her do it because she's talking just about life and what she's doing and stuff while she's drawing it, and you kind of lose yourself in it, and you find yourself like an hour's gone and you're still watching her do the panels that she's doing and stuff. So definitely check it out. And that again is another quality segment of the Road to Thought Bubble. We've only got like 7 weeks left, 7 or 8 weeks left.
Yeah, it's not going to be too far away. I'm just trying to think who we're going to do from the next coming shows. If anybody has any suggestions, anybody in the chat, if there's anybody that's going to Thought Bubble that you think that we want to showcase, then let me know and we can pull something together.
Definitely got to be the two, that Dan and Casper, the guys that did Homesick Pilots.
Cool. Yeah.
I'm so excited. But I just can't hide it.
Wow.
And with that, Comic said, I knew you guys would get it. Night, folks. Pointillism, that is where the whole picture is made of dots. Not sure what shading with dots is called, though.
Yeah, it's got a specific name. I forgot what it's called, though.
Ben's ducking out as well. Me too, guys. Have a good rest of the show. Thanks for dropping in, mate. And then we've got the Grey Man. I thought I was probably wrong. No, I don't think you were, to be fair. I don't think you were. So that is another awesome segment of Road to Thought Bubble. And then up now we have the killer covers for this week. Now, Andy's won one, I've won one, and Tom, you haven't won.
I won the first one.
Oh, did you? Oh, right. So we've all won one. No, yeah. So I haven't won one. So Andy's won one, Tom's won one, and I haven't won one. Right, but last week we got a telling off with Mrs. Perpetual because she messaged me and said, "You're not professional enough. You didn't let everyone know who won the who won the killer cover of the week." So I slap on the hand, horrify Mrs. Perpetual, and then I kind of had to re-comment on my Instagram and YouTube and let everyone know that Andy won. So this week, Andy gets to go first.
There's not much I have to say about this cover, to be fair. Everything is said by the absolutely perfection and beauty that is The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 74 by In-Hyuk Lee. This particular cover is the Virgin variant. And as soon as I saw this, I was blown away. There's nothing bad about this book. And God forbid trying to get this CGC'd and get a 9.8 with that cover.
Yeah, all that white.
Yeah, this is absolutely beautiful, absolute perfection. One that I'll definitely be picking up. Not too sure about Amazing Spider-Man Run. I've not heard the greatest about it, but when it comes to cover, if you're a cover buyer, this is a no-brainer.
It is an incredible cover. I'll give you that one, Andy. I'll give you that one. Who's next? So, it's me. I'm next. Yeah. This is crossover number 8, and it's obviously by a friend of the Killer Comic Show, Mr. Alan Quay. This for me is amazing. Like it's got a callback to the Beatles crossing the road. It's just sensational. Every single bit in this ties into the story. You've got the color work, you've got the line work, you've got the characters. This for me wins all day long. I'm going with that. Crossover number 8, the Virgin variant cover by Mr. Alan Quay. That's my cover of the week.
Do we have a poll, Charlie? Have you?
Yeah. I'm going to do it after, because you told me to. You told me I'll give away the spoilers last week, so I'm going to do it after. And then
that's right. Good,
all right.
Good call.
So right, cool. And then last but no means least, we have.
Yeah, so I've gone for Matthias Bergara. Bergara? How would you say that? Bergara? Is that how you would say it? I've gone for his Matthias. I've gone for his cover because this is very much exactly what the Greeks are all about. The whole like Greek vase with the whole black and white situation. It really reminded me of Hercules, the Disney thing where they're all dancing on the pots. And I thought this is really cool. I really like the use of only 3 shades or 3 colors. I think it's great. I love it. And I really do think it shows, the whole Greek power thing. I really like it. So that was it. Why it was my pick. And it's a 1 in 25. So it is available to pick up. I love it. I think it's great.
This reminded me of one of the Veregi covers. Have you seen his?
Yeah, definitely Veregi.
Reminded me a little bit of this. Yeah.
Also, really like sorry, go on, Charlie.
I see this cover today in Forbidden Planet, and it looks even better up close.
Yeah.
It does look really, like the pictures that we're showing really don't do it justice. It is a great cover. So, yeah, that's a good pick.
I do like that one.
That is, but I've got the poll going live, so just let us know who you think wins the poll this week. And then I will, honestly, before the show ends, I will let everyone know who won the poll this week. But yeah, that's the killer cover.
Do you know what this segment needs? What? An intro video.
It does need, and do you know what? Tom's done an intro video, and me being the Muppet, because I went out and had 3 Guinnesses and probably felt a little bit too lightheaded, totally forgot to upload it. So next week you will have the Killer Comics Killer Covers intro. But yeah, it's my fault.
All that hard work, mate.
I know. I'm so sorry. I'll do apologise, and I'll get it up next week. Pause. But anyway, so yeah, that's the Killer Covers of the week. Let us know in the comments and the chat what you think and who's going to win, and they will win absolutely nothing. What we're doing, but what we're all here for is the comics review for last week. Now, obviously, we work a week behind, so we're currently on week 39. We're reviewing comics on week 38, and up first we have
Dark Blood, issue number 3 by the fantastic Latoya Morgan. Hopefully in the chat.
Yeah, hopefully she's still in the chat. We made her wait a while, so hopefully she hasn't got bored and she's still in the chat. But if you are there, Latoya, just give us a sign.
So this was my pick for this week. I know that Charlie was going to do this one as well. We were all really keen to read this and pick this up. We've been following it since issue number 1. And for me, this particular issue, just having read it just felt as if Dark Blood is getting full into its stride and it is ready to go. The last issue for me done a lot of sort of the legwork for the story. It felt like it was doing a lot of the sort of giving you the backstory. So I don't know about everybody else, but I was just ready for issue 3 just to see where this would actually to take us. And it just put us slap bang right back in the middle of all the action again. The artwork for this was absolutely superb. It couldn't have articulated the action any better as far, and the pace of it as well. And we say it a lot of times. I know me and Tom we say it about the paneling and how the panels are really important. It's not just about the artwork and the colours; it's about how it's actually structured, and I think that's one of the real plus points for Dark Blood. So for me, this was just it kept the pace, kept it going, and it made me really look forward to issue number 4. Because the action in this was absolutely fantastic. So Latoya is hit out of the park again, and I'm pleasantly surprised that even after issue 3 that I'm still really interested in this book. Yeah. I'm sold in it, and the characters I'm invested in, and I want to see it through. And I can only hope that once we've got the 5 issues that we get a 6th issue and beyond. So whatever we can do to make that happen, then I'm sure the Killer Comics chat can help out and push and hopefully get to issue 6 and beyond.
Well, speaking about that, so when Latoya was on the show, I reached out to Ross Ritchie and I was like, Ross, how can we go about getting Dark Blood to continue? And he said, you keep doing what you're doing, keep flooding Latoya's Instagram with comments and wanting to get this story out there, and we keep going and keep going on and on and on. So we're definitely going to do that, because I think after reading this number 3, the second cover by Junie Bartha Mead, A Tale of Suspense, says it all. Yeah. This story, issue number 3, really gets to a peak now where you're kind of like, you're on the edge of your seat, you're reading it and you think, how is this going to go? Because you really can't tell. Obviously, it goes one way and then it switches up and it goes back. And then I'm not a massive fan of the back and forward story, but this is done so well that it does so simply transitions into story of the current, story of the past. And I've got to be honest, this for me was my favorite issue. I'm so invested in reading this. Again, I've read issue 1, 2 and 3 this week, because if I'm invested in a story, that's what I'm going to do every single week. I'm going to read every single issue there is, so I know that when I'm reading issue number 4 or issue number 5, it's fresh in my mind. The artwork on this is sublime. The story is incredible, and me and Tom spoke to Latoya in depth about the whole thought process behind the story and like the history of it and everything. It really comes across in such a positive way that this is definitely one of the best stories that I have read in 2021 by far. So massive shout out to Latoya for putting out such a decent comic. And I'm not just saying that because she's in the chat, but we said it to her when she was on the show, and I've let her know as well. It's an amazing comic, and the fact is that Boom Studios and Latoya are working really well on this. So whatever we can do to continue this, because I don't want this to end at issue number 5. I want it to keep going.
No,
and I think
I think that's we are always honest with our reviews. We're lucky enough that we've had a lot of creators on, whether it be writers, whether it be artists, and we're also really lucky that a lot of them choose to come and watch the shows and support us. So we are always honest, and I was a little bit scared going into reading issue 3 because I didn't want it to disappoint, because I've enjoyed the first 2 issues so much, and I can honestly say that this issue didn't. It was fantastic. What about yourself, Tom?
Well, I thought it was shit hot. It was amazing. It didn't disappoint. I have nothing else to add to what you two have just said. You both have just exactly said what I wanted to say. It builds up from issue 2 really, really well. And at no point can you really take a breath in this issue. Yeah. It is just really like impactful. And there's quite a lot of thought-provoking things that come about in this issue. And there's a few bits that I felt uncomfortable with, but I'm glad they're in there, and I'm glad that I got to read about it. And like Charlie said, it is suspenseful. You really want to know what's going to happen. And I like that we're halfway through and it's not letting up on the gas. It's like you were just going to go full throttle on this bad boy. So I love it. I thought it was great. I cannot wait for issue 4, and I really want to know what's going to happen to those Germans.
100%. And I think you're absolutely spot on, Tom. I think a lot of the language and a lot of the story and stuff like the themes, I don't think anybody should be comfortable reading it. I think you should be uncomfortable reading it. And I think that is the book is doing what it's supposed to do. And Latoya's, her writing is making you invested in all these characters. So can't say any more.
Yeah. I totally agree with what Charlie said. It's one of the best books this year I've read so far, and the fact that I keep picking up and rereading it says a lot. The only other series I'm doing that with is Once and Future. So, and I really highly recommend that book. So this one is right up there with it. I think it is one of my favorite books this year, 100%.
And while we've got Latoya in the chat, obviously I gushed over Walking Dead when she was on the show, and I just want to give her a massive shout out and a round of applause. And I'm going to take my hat off as well, because the latest episode of A Walking Dead, I think it was Into the Ashes, I'm proper hooked on Walking Dead again now. Like I'm back in the game. I'm absolutely loving it. So Latoya, thanks for bringing the passion back to Walking Dead, and I'm so excited to see how this is going to continue, because it's got that intensity back. It's got the edge of your seatness. You're watching, you don't know what's going to happen. The zombies are there. Shit's going down, and there's action galore in these latest episodes of Walking Dead. So not only is she killing comics, she's killing TV shows as well. And if you haven't checked her out already, head over to Instagram, check her out, because she's doing some fantastic stuff at the moment. And I can only just push it as much as we can, because this comic, I do not want to end at 5 issues. And if we can do anything, if us 3 guys here, if anyone in the chat, anyone else on social media, if you're watching after the rewind, jump on and promote the hell out of this, because Ross Riches, he's one of us. Like, he's a comic book lover. So if we can kind of push him in the right direction to keep putting his stuff out, let's do it.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like we need to get a Kickstarter or something going, like a poll that just continues to keep going, because this deserves more than just the 6 issues. Although we've not read all 6 issues yet, it might end on a really good note where we're like, do you know what? It doesn't need any more. Like, it's ended perfectly. But I hope so. Hopefully it can continue to go, because I can just see it's got tremendous legs and a lot more to it that I want to know more. I want to know about his backstory before any of this as well. Like,
and before Latoya goes out, because I know she's got to go, she said, regarding the Walking Dead, Out of the Ashes was the episode I wrote this season. So glad you're enjoying it. The final season is epic. If you are a Walking Dead fan, check it out, because it's amazing. It is amazing.
I put Latoya's Instagram URL in the chat, so everybody go and follow Latoya and spread the word, and at everybody that you know to go and pick up Dark Blood.
Boom. There's a comment just dropped in the chat from Tim. That's the power of Killer Comics.
That's what we want. That is it. Just ordered a copy of Dark Blood. Looking forward to it. You will not be. There are no words. You will not be disappointed. You won't regret it.
We'll get Tim on for the next show so he can review it.
Yes,
exactly. And Latoya, honestly, thank you so much for taking the time to jump in the chat. We're not the best. We're just comic book lovers. And if it was a rubbish comic, we would let you know. We give honest reviews. But you're killing it with this amazing comic. So we're not the best. You're the best. And we will see you on social media, because we're going to start plugging the hell out of this. And you're going to be wishing that you didn't see us on social media.
We're going to be that really annoying uncle or cousin. It's like, just go away and leave me alone.
We will be. But yeah, that's Dark Blood issue number 3. That came out last week. So head over and pick up that. That was Andy's pick for this week. Up next, we have Stillwater issue number 10. For me, this is getting intense now. Like, this is getting really, really intense. This is it's totally shifted the whole perspective of the story. Like, we went into this thinking, there's a place called Stillwater where you can't die. Everyone stays the same age. Nothing ever changes. You'll live happily ever after. And then obviously it's now the kids that have just taken over. Like, the kids are taking over. The whole dynamic has shifted. Like, one of the panels in it for me, I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to ruin it, but one of the panels in it for me involving the judge, I didn't see that coming. I honestly didn't see that coming. And I was kind of like, wow, this is Chip Zdarsky, Raymond K. Perez, and Mike Spicer are onto a winner here. This is a fucking awesome comic, man. Like, and it literally is, again, it's another killer comic that deserves to be read issue by issue over and over again when a new issue comes out. Because you kind of miss... In issue number 9, it was focused on like the character building of the kids and stuff. In this issue, the kids have killed it. Like they've come out, they're starting a whole new thing. So if you're not reading this, please get into it. I can't praise this comic enough for what the three people working on it have absolutely done. So this for me was my comic of the week.
Yeah, hats off. This was the best issue of Stillwater that I've read. And I think this sets us up beautifully for what the future has to hold. Chip Zdarsky just keeps on doing it all the time. I think this is the most consistent kind of a long-running book that I'm reading, certainly this year. And I think in particular, this issue for me was all about, you know, they say that the kids are the future. But this book is kind of or this issue is making you question that, seriously making you question that, because it seems that the kids may just be bringing the same issues to Stillwater, or potentially even worse. And I think that the standout thing for this book was when it done a little bit of foreshadowing of the first issue and what happened there with one of the young kids. And I just thought that was pure Chip Zdarsky writing there. The artwork has just been consistently stellar, and the color work by Mike is absolutely on point. But as I said, we've been talking about this book since issue number 1. And we keep telling everybody, like, if you're not picking this up, go and give it a read. It's absolutely great. I think Ben was someone who picked it up quite late and absolutely loved it. I can't recommend this enough to anybody. And it is, as Charlie said, it's one that you can go in issue by issue. But pick up the trade if you have to. But I would definitely go and try and seek out those issues and just make some time, get a cup of coffee, and just take all this in, because it is as close to a perfect run this year as I've read.
Tom?
I'm going to slightly disagree. I think it's a good book. Don't get me wrong. I thought it was a killer and I really enjoyed it. I did think it was good, but it wasn't. It just felt a little bit like a bit of a step off the gas a little bit for Stillwater for me. It's been really good. And I felt the last 2 issues have been a little bit not my personal cup of tea. I did enjoy it, and like Andy said, I really liked the flashback to the first issue. I thought that was a fantastic way of doing it, and I like that they're going down this road of, have they got rid of one evil, and the grass isn't greener, because the next one is going to be far worse. Should they have really stuck with the devil they knew rather than the devil they don't? I liked that. I just thought the pacing in this book was a little bit slow for me, considering how the last issue stopped on such a high velocity. I thought that was going to continue, and it didn't. But it is a killer, and I did really like it. And I do think if you're not reading Stillwater, go out and read it, because so far, like Andy said, it's been a pretty much perfect run. It's just this issue I have a bit of a problem with, and it's only because it just wasn't as pacey as the last one. Not to say it's not a good issue. It is a very good issue. Chip Zdarsky is an amazing writer. And, you know, me and Andy have spoke about the paneling, and we've all spoke about the artwork. It's incredible in this book. It really does do everything it says on the tin. It's just personally, I didn't quite get into it like I did with Dark Red or the next book we're going to talk about.
And obviously the next book is, so that's 2 killers so far. 2 out of 3.
2 killers,
2 out of 3. The next one is...
Yeah, so the next one is my pick for the week. So I thought we'd show Marvel some love this week, because we haven't done any Marvel for a little while. So we've gone for issue 1 of The Death of Doctor Strange, written by Jed MacKay. And I really like Jed MacKay's writing style. I think he's quite a good writer, and I do really respect what he does. He's got Lee Garbett on the artwork, and his artwork is insane. I really like the Scotty Young variant to this, and I know some people really don't like it, but I think it's really cool. I personally think that's great. I like the Miles Morales one because I'm collecting those. And I think the 21 and 25 variant is pretty swash as well. As a story,
That's a new word.
Swash. Yeah. I thought as a story, it was well written for a fun book. It's not one of those like groundbreaking written books. It's kind of like win, massive awards for being incredibly well written. I just think it's a really fun book to pick up and read. It doesn't take itself too seriously. There's this really cool thing where he goes walking with his dog, which is like really not what you want to read about in a comic book about the death of Doctor Strange. You want, battles and spaceships and mystical stuff, but he goes walking with his dog, which I think is a really cute kind of really nice little inside story within a story, which was really cool. I liked how the suspense for like who has done it and then what comes about from after it happens is pretty cool. I thought the pacing was really good. I thought it was nicely fast paced, but like I said, it's not going to be a groundbreaking book. It's not going to be for everyone. It is a little bit childish, but I did really enjoy it. What did you guys think?
Andy?
Charlie?
Andy?
Charlie.
Okay.
Andy?
Right. So this is obviously, now I didn't know this, but this comes as part of the Strange Academy spin-off.
Yes.
So this was, I liked it, and the thing that piqued my interest straight away was the main cover, but also the Scotty Young, because I'm a massive Scotty Young fan. But the story, I really enjoyed this. Like this was the first comic I read of all of them this week. And this was the one I picked up and read, and I was like, okay, I'm going to get into this. I really, really liked it. As Tom said, it is a casual. It's not going to win no awards. It's not the most groundbreaking story it's ever written. It's nowhere near on the par of Dark Blood and Stillwater. It's not there. It's a Marvel comic. They don't touch on the subjects that the Image and Boom Studios do and everything like that. But I really enjoyed it, and I think I enjoyed it more because you kind of understand a bit more about Doctor Strange. You kind of understand his relationship, and it touches on when he was still a surgeon and everything like that. For me, the best part about this comic was how it tied into Strange Academy. So there's a few things in there that are directly from Strange Academy and how it's all tying in and stuff like that. I thought it was a good book. I thought it was an easy read. I enjoyed it. And yeah, there's not really much more I can say about it. It's not a bad comic. It's not going to win awards, as you said. It's a good book. It was a good read. That's kind of it. Andy?
I was really looking forward to reading this. I was really glad that Tom had picked this because it was one of the ones that I wanted an excuse to read it, to be honest with you, because it wouldn't be one of the ones I would normally pick up. It wouldn't be my go-to. I thought the covers, specifically cover A for this, was pretty spectacular. The detail is absolutely superb. But for me, beyond the end reveal of this book, there's literally nothing that's surprising or interesting about this book. It's instantly forgettable for me. So much so that whenever I had read it, I'd said, you know what, I'm not going to instantly think of my review and what I'm going to say about it. I left it to the next day, and the sign of a book is one that's instantly forgettable. And I completely forgot what I'd read, and I had to read it again. This book just kind of Doctor Strange is a fantastic character, and I just think there's so much more that could have been done with this. And it, it does what it says on the tin. It's about the death of Doctor Strange, and they don't mess about. They're straight to it in this particular book. But again, there has to be a point to this, and I'm hoping that issue 2 onwards will that'll become obvious. But if you just take this book as its own entity, and you take the title of it and what happened at the end, you have to ask yourself, what was the point?
I'll totally see what you. I agree with you. What was the?
I disagree.
You kind of know what's going to happen by the title. It's the death of Doctor Strange. But you kind of know. But I was still interested and still intrigued of what happened at the end of the story. I've got to admit, I was kind of like, well, there's a bit of suspense here, and how did it actually happen? But yeah, I think this was definitely by a long mile the weakest one. But for me, I'd still say it was a killer because it was enjoyable and it was something different to what I haven't read in ages. So I'm going to go with a killer for this one.
Mate, it's like Ronto. It's exactly what it says on the tin. And I thought it was really good fun. So I'm definitely going to be a killer. I disagree with you wholeheartedly, Andy.
Story of my life. No, it's definitely not a binner for me. I'm definitely glad that I read it. But I think when you compare it to the 2 books that we reviewed against this, and I know you shouldn't compare, but it's hard not to. And I don't know what I was expecting for this. I just thought I just wanted a little bit more Marvel. I know about Doctor Strange, and I know how important he is, and I didn't need 32 pages of his life story and woe him, I guess.
Yes. Was it better? Go on, Tom.
I was going to say something that, like, I don't know if anyone else or even you guys have ever read any Japanese manga, right?
Yes.
So I do, and I'm heavily involved in My Hero Academia. But the stories that they got, those people that over it, like the Japanese manga stories that they tell, are so much richer than some of the stuff that Marvel and DC plow out, and that's because they get you involved in the characters, and then they like Game of Thrones, they either kill them off permanently or give them some kind of like limitation. Like they have a character called Deku who's got this all might power that he literally has got all these 5 different powers, but every time he uses it, it damages his body. So it puts a limitation on it. There's no limitation on some of the characters. Like, what's limitation does Superman have? He doesn't have a limitation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like that. And I think that is what Marvel and DC are missing, is having that kind of some kind of limitation on the characters' abilities and a bit more suspense and stuff like that. I just think they need a little bit more of that. However, this is still a killer.
There we go. It was a killer. So we've had 3 killers, and we've had 1, 2 killers, and 1 Andy's not quite sure. Maybe give it another read, Andy, like we did with Scouts Honor, and just see what you think.
Andy's not quite mint. He's not quite sure.com.
It's not quite killer.
I don't think it's quite. But honestly, they're 3 comments we read from last week. As we say in the chat every single week, if there's any comics that you'd like us to read for next week's show, it will be the comics this week. Just drop us a message either on here in the chat, or drop us one on Instagram, or even hashtag the Killer Comic Show on the post of what comics you want us to read, because it's always good to read something that we haven't read before, because it does seem to be Image, Boom Studios and everything like that. So if you've got comics that you'd like to hear what us 3 think of it, drop it in the chat, let us know, and we can get it done. But on that note, and then it just ends. Thomas, what have you got for us this week? The Killer Keys.
Right. So this next week for the Killer Keys for the 6th of October, as if we're in October, guys. I mean, wow, that year has gone quick. So the first one up is Arkham City, The Order of the World, and this one is written by Dan Waters, and he will be at Thought Bubble if you want to go and get it signed. Nice. This is also available at notquitemint.com, because I bought a couple of extra ones, so it's not just pre-order. I'm definitely going to get a couple of extra of these, mainly because there's a couple of first appearances. So you get a first team appearance of the Arkham Knights, which is a group of Arkham inmates that have escaped from Arkham Asylum, but they're not your standard normal bad guys that we've come across before. It's not like Killer Croc and all that lot. These are brand spanking new characters, and there's a new character called Jester Joy, who is part of this group, who I read about earlier on Twitter that they're saying is going to be like an alternative female Joker that's a little bit better than Punchline.
Okay.
I mean, take what you want from that. I mean, I quite liked Punchline, and I quite like Harley, so I don't know how you can then do another extra Jester character, but we'll see how it goes. So that's that one. That is out next week on the 6th of October.
I really liked when I see this cover in when I read the premise in that in Previews magazine. I really liked it. I thought it looked. I like my Batman and the stuff, and the cover of this, where they're kind of under the darkness, under the tunnel, and like Gotham is going on as it is Arkham City.
The annoying thing is it says it's a brand new character, brand new Arkham Asylum guys, right? But to me, in that picture, I can see Mad Hatter, I can see the Pig, and I can see Solomon Grundy. So I'm pretty sure they aren't brand spanking new characters, are they?
It just must be a different take on them.
Yeah,
they're definitely not new characters, not at all.
No.
And the artist of that last book, Danny, is also going to be at Thought Bubble as well, so you can get it signed there as well.
Yeah. I forgot that Danny was going to be there, to be fair. I probably should need to read a bit more about Thought Bubble.
Yeah, probably. Why don't you have a look at our Road to Thought Bubble, and then you can follow.
Why don't I go back?
Have a look at the first episode.
And watch all of these on the rewind.
And hit the thumbs up as well, because that also helps. But yeah, what we got next?
So next up, and this one I'm really excited for, and this is my pick for the following week to read. It is Dark Ages issue 2, written by Tom Taylor and artwork by Eamon Coelho. I actually really enjoyed the first issue of this, and I'm really excited to see where it's going to go, because obviously it's a dystopic world. There is no electricity; it's all gone. So it's like there's no technology. Everything is all steam and back to the dark ages. I absolutely love it. The reason this is a key pick is because it's the first cover appearance of this brand spanking new symbiote hybrid, which is a combination of both Carnage and Venom bonded to Miles Morales. And in this story is its proper first full appearance as well. So if you're a specker, this one is probably going to be one to pick up, because it's already a hot book, and people are already speculating that this is going to be Miles's his symbiote that's then going to be brought into the main Marvel universe via the multiverse at some point.
This for me, and I know we've said it, and I know Ben said it when he was still on the show. This is Marvel have done something special with this book. They really have. This for me made me feel like I was a kid again, reading a comic for the first time. Everything about it was just like, oh my god, this is awesome.
Yeah. I think Tom Taylor's got that. Not all, I really like Tom Taylor's work. Not all his work is great, but his DC stuff, incredible. And I think he's just brought that to the table for Marvel. He's kind of gone, right, do you know what? Let's tell a story where I can do what I like with whoever I like. If I do damage, we'll just put it under a multiverse that's got nothing to do with the main stage. And I love that, because it gives him absolute freedom. And I think that is what this deserves. I think they all deserve a bit of freedom.
Yeah. But this is Dark Ages. Oh, I'm looking forward to this one.
Dark Ages issue 2.
Yeah. What we got next? We have...
So, up next is the next comic book in the High Republic series. So this is Star Wars High Republic, Trials of the Shadows, written by Daniel Jose, and Dave Watcher is the artist for this one. This one is another Star Wars book, but this one is based around this detective who's on the main cover, and I'm not sure which character she is. I don't know whether she's Cyan Holt or Emmerich Chapter, but they are two brand spanking new characters, and that's those two on the front cover, but I don't know which one's which, so I can't help you out with that one. But this is about a detective who has a Jedi Knight help her out, but he's a fallen Jedi Knight, so he's actually not a fully qualified Jedi Knight. He's not done all his training and stuff, but he's just trying to get back into the order. And there's also a first appearance of a villain in this one called Akrab.
There's a crab.
I'm just you.
There's so many Star Wars books out at the minute and I'm a Star Wars fan, and I try to pick them up and stack them and read them all at one time. But I think the last time I looked at my pull list, there was 11 different titles on.
Yeah,
and then they've got the one shots as well. So the good things with these books is a lot of them are maybe 5 or 6 sort of mini runs as well. But you just know that any new series that they're going to bring out has at least 1 or 2 new characters, and everybody's just specking on the next Dr. Aphra book coming up.
Definitely. And I mean, I know it's common knowledge, but I think people keep sitting on the fact that the next Star Wars TV shows and films are going to be based on High Republic. So these are the sort of books you want to pick up with first appearances in, just in case any of these characters go onto the big screen, because they'll be worth a good chunk anyway.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to reading this, but I actually really like the normal Star Wars High Republic series. I think it's been really good so far. Definitely worth picking up.
Oh, definitely. And then we have...
So finally, it's the Defenders issue 3 by Al Ewing. This has actually been a really good series. I've enjoyed reading it. It's fun. It's not groundbreaking. It's not like, award-winning like Dark Blood or Stillwater or anything like that. But it is good. It is a good, fun read. The artwork in it by Javier Rodriguez is really, really good and very enjoyable. This issue is a key because it's the first appearance of Mordium. Sorry. My dyslexia is playing absolute havoc with me right now. Mordium is the character that's involved in this, and that's the first appearance in this book. So it's worth picking up for a first appearance if you're interested in Defenders.
It's funny that with some great killer keys, but it's funny that you say your dyslexia was playing havoc with you, because we had a fan of the show that did a video last week, and he kind of struggled a bit. I think that's enough of me talking about it. I think
this is Andy's fault from Perpetual Comics. Pep.
Yes, I love the fact that I now have the best intro. This is thanks Triple G.
Triple G is the absolute man. He's the man. Like he can't say perpetual, but he is just kills it. And thank you so much for that, mate. And the videos he puts out are just awesome. They really are.
He's right there with me, mate. We're a pair of dyslexics.
Dyslexics. There we go. But Andy, Killer Indies, October 6th.
Yes, Killer Indies for October 6th, and there are lots and lots of them. So this was quite a challenge to narrow them down to, I think, 3 I picked for this week. First up, we have A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance, issue number 1. So this is going to be my pick or my read of the week to review whenever it comes to it. And this is written by the fantastic Rick Remender. And bear with me, the artist is Andre Lima Arajo. Are we going with that?
At least you can say it.
Look at that.
And
or as he's known to his friends, Andre.
Jim.
Exactly. But guys, check out the covers for these books. They are superb. And I just think there's every so often that a book comes out and I read the synopsis of it and I think, you know what, this might be the next fire hit that's going to come out. And so the synopsis for this is: when an unassuming man stumbles upon a dark web contract assassin's vicious plot to kill an innocent target, he turns himself into one. Atmospheric murder mystery with sudden bouts of brutal violence.
Wow.
Sold. I'm in.
100%. That looks wicked. And it sounds...
Image Comics. Definitely try and pick that up.
And that's October 6th. This one. Oh, look at the cover.
Before you move on, just quickly. Yeah. So Doctor Strange has died. Wong's gone off to become an assassin. He looks like the bloke who plays Wong in the TV.
You lost me there. I totally didn't have a clue what you was talking about. I was like, hold on.
Wong.
We did Doctor Strange a while back, mate. Are you still catching up?
No, I'm just saying.
But no, it is.
It had paused there.
It is. I wonder what went wrong, eh?
Hey.
But yeah, next up.
Thirst of Vengeance.
Hi, the butcher's in the chat. How you doing, mate? Thanks for dropping in, sir.
How's it going, Jay? So next up we have Chicken Devil issue number 1. If it's no sold just by the name alone, and this cover, which is absolutely fantastic, the colours in this is great. This is through Aftershock Comics, and this is Brian Buccellato. Yep, we're going to go with that. Brian, to his friends, and Hayden Sherman is doing the artwork for this. This is an absolute Breaking Bad vibe whenever you sort of read the synopsis. And it's basically about this guy called Mitchell Moss, and he's just a regular guy. He's got a couple of kids, but he co-owns a really successful chain of hot chicken restaurants. And he effectively becomes a vigilante. And I'm assuming, based on what he's dressed up as, this is how he beats the mean streets as a chicken restaurant owner. I just think this is going to be a bit wacky, a bit fun, a little bit different, but I think it will have that sort of underlying sort of cutting evil edge to it. I don't think it's as fluffy as it comes across. So I'm definitely going to be picking this up. I'm hoping maybe Charlie picks this as his read to give us. It
looks like a tasty comic to read, so I'll definitely be picking it up. But I mean,
finger licking.
I'm kind of worried about the butcher now because, like Jay, I hope you're not watching us while you're driving home. I hope you've just got us on in the background, because I'd hate to think, like, just drive safe, please, mate. Just drive safe. And we've got the return of Gore Vidal. Where have you been, sir? It has been so
Yeah.
long, and he just drops in. Righteous Thirst for Vengeance sounds like, oh boy, I'm looking forward to this comic. I'm looking forward to you dropping in the chat and giving us your words of wisdom when we pick this comic to read. So if you can do that, that'd be much appreciated. But thank you for having back. The better half of Perpetual has dropped in again. She's just dropped a bomb and she'll probably just walk out laughing. Why did the chicken devil cross the road?
To kill Colonel Sanders.
There we go. But I want to know, Kira, I want to know what the answer to this joke is, because you can't just walk in and drop this bomb and then not expect us to know what the answer is. And it's
please.
It's basically kick-ass in a chicken suit, basically. It is.
Couldn't agree more.
This comic looks wicked. I will pick this up. I will.
So when are we actually getting Lady Perpetual on here?
Right about the same time that we have your good lady and Charlie's good lady on here.
Maybe 1 week. Maybe 1 week we just get our better half to do the show.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Do you know what? It would definitely raise the content. It would raise the viewers, and it would definitely raise the good looks. To be fair,
it would do. So maybe that's something we can talk about a full bubble and get it happening. But who knows? But yeah, so that's Chicken Devil number 1, and then last but no means least.
This is one that is kind of like my wild card for next week. This is out, issue number 1 by AWA Upshot, and I know that Tim had sort of given a big shout out to the AWA comics, and they bring out some fantastic stuff. I think the last run that I'd read was Moths, which if you haven't read is absolutely superb.
Yeah.
So this is written by Rob Williams and art by Will Conrad. And the synopsis for this is, in the waning days of World War II, with the Allies advancing, a desperate Nazi officer unearths an ancient force of evil that he hopes will turn the tide of battle, a vampire. To test the power of his secret weapon, he unleashes the monster on an unsuspecting group of prisoners of war. And then it's basically surrounding this character called Nakona, and he's like a language expert, and the whole book is surrounding about how he communicates with the vampires to find out what exactly they really want. So it feels like you've almost like heard this kind of a synopsis before. You know, you've got World War, you've got vampires and stuff like that, but you know, I'm sold every time that there's vampires involved. So I'll definitely be reading this to see what it's like.
Yeah. I'm definitely in for this because I've been watching the latest season of American Horror Story, and that's all about like vampires and stuff. So I'm definitely I'm in a vampire type of mood. So I'm definitely up for this.
Vampire type of mood.
I know. And as Phil said, Not All Robots, also from AWA. That's another wicked comic. That is another awesome comic. There's some quality covers out for issue number 1. Issue 2 came out 2 weeks ago, I believe.
Erratic is another Upshot one, isn't it? Which is really good.
Yes. Yeah. But I mean, Andy, like you've smashed it out of the park again with like what you've picked this week, and I know it was hard because there was a load out. There's loads coming out next week, so you can't wear it down.
Yeah, I think there was at least 15 or 16 that I had on my original list, and what I'm trying to do, especially with this segment, because we have so many segments, and obviously we don't want to be on all night as much as we would love to, is trying to pick the sort of cream of the crop. So I try to keep it to a maximum of 3 books that people can pick up.
But yeah, so that's the killer indie picks for October 6th, which is next week. But as always, we end the show on the Killer Comics sneak peek. So this is a sneak peek into the comics that we're going to be reading next week. And if we do ever get enough in the chat, we'll kind of scrap this and we'll just go with the comics that you guys suggest. But again, me and Andy kind of picked the same comic, didn't we, sir?
We did indeed, yeah. Great taste in comics. We've all got great taste in comics. What can I say? This Gun Honey is one that I've been looking forward to since I read it in previews. There's lots and lots and lots. Good night, Fuzzy. There's lots of covers for this, and this one that you have up at the minute is the Bill Sienkiewicz cover, which also comes in 2 variants. So you've got the Virgin variant, and there's also a foil variant for this as well. So definitely go and try and check that out. This is Charles Ardai is the writer, and I'm going to try and pronounce this artist's name. It's Ang Hor Kieng, or Ang to his friends. So this has been released through Titan Books. There is Forbidden Planet has a special on this, a special foil cover by Adam Hughes that you definitely want to go and look up. And the synopsis for this is: when a gun smuggled into a high security prison leads to the death of dozens and the escape of a brutal criminal, notorious weapon smuggler Joanna Tan is enlisted by the US government. Find the man she set loose and bring him down. So this will be my pick and read of next week.
Sweet. I'm looking forward to it. I was looking forward to it because I was initially picked it, and I'm definitely. I mean, I say picked. We all read the same comics and we all enjoy them, so it's kind of like whatever anyone picks, we read anyway.
Totally.
This was a no-brainer. This was a no-brainer. Obviously, it's something to kill any children. Issue number 20. Like, I'm literally going to have a rucksack full of these for James Tynion to sign. I feel so sorry for this guy because for me, obviously, we've got Enter the House of Slaughter, which is coming out next week, Tom.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Obviously, this is kind of... I'm loving the way that this is like...
Enter the House of Slaughter is the last week in October to coincide with Halloween.
With Halloween, right.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, no, my bad.
But this is a no-brainer. I think we can all agree that it's been great. There has been some fillers in there. There's been 3 or 4 fillers in there. But overall, this is a comic I've had to read.
I'm glad that you picked... Who picked this? Was this you, Charlie? Yeah. Yeah. I'm so glad that you picked this. And the reason being is because I've actually fell off Something That's Killing the Children. And I don't think I've read it since issue 15 or 16.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to have some good reading to do. So I appreciate it.
You've got some good issues in there, Nate.
But yeah.
Right.
And then we've also got the 15-issue hardcover coming soon as well.
Yeah, with the special slipcase version, which will only be 1 print.
I was just going to say, there is only 1 print. Ross Ritchie is not doing another one. And if you want to get it soon rather than later, because it is
going over his Instagram. That is, he's literally come out and said there's no more. That's going to be it.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't create hysteria, then I don't actually know what will. But so that's my pick of the week for next week. And then Tom.
Yeah. So after Andy's key picks last week, I was absolutely sold 100% on reading this one. So it's from Source Point Press. It's Unborn. It's about some miners on a ship on Earth. They're going into mine for some special fuel, and it all goes tits up. And it just sounds amazing because they look like the Avengers. They look like the Power Rangers. I'm totally in. Go and get that comic right now. Written by Frank Gogol, did you say, Andy? Is that how you say it?
Yes, that's the one. Yeah, Frank. Uncle Frank.
Uncle Frank. So, yeah, I'm excited to read this one. And I'm glad that I picked something that wasn't like out of the big 3, to be fair, or any of the bigger comics. So I'm really looking forward to reading this because it's a real proper independent for me. I've never normally pick anything from Source Point Press.
I'm looking forward to reading this as well. And I think, again, indie comics. Let's do it. But yeah, that's the end of the show, and I can literally feel Mrs. Perpetual having a go at me in my ear, so I'm going to call it already. Who wins cover of the week for week number 39? It was not even close. Spider-Man 74. No, hold on. Wonder Woman got 38%. Crossover number 8 got 8%.
Is that you?
Yeah, and the winner for a second week in a row with the Inhyuk Lee Spider-Man 74 Virgin cover, it's 54%. It's Mr. Perpetual. He's winner. He's on to a winner. But
thank you, everybody. I'd like to thank the chat. I'd like to thank the person who thumbs down the show, and I would like to thank next week's watchers and Not Quite Mint, and stop showing off your comic. No, thanks very much. I appreciate it. It was an absolute banging cover. I like this segment.
But honestly,
adequate.
Look, are you showing your hot grabs this week? I am feeling not quite adequate. We're banning Tom next week, so Tom won't be.
I'm banned.
Tom won't be on the show next week, and we're being deadly honest. Me and Andy have vetoed Tom because he rocks up, he shows like his X-Men #1, and then now he wants to rock out more stuff. So Tom's banned from next week. So next week you do just have me and Andy, but we do have the week after, we do have a really good show lined up. And if you didn't catch the promo that we've put on Instagram, let me just share it with the one, the only Mr. Jock will be with us on October the 14th at 9 p.m. at BST. So make sure you tune in for that. If you've got any questions or anything that you want to ask in the chat, he's going to be open to answering anything. So make sure you do get in. It's going to be another quality show, as we always put on for you guys. So, yeah.
I'm so excited for Jock, man.
I'm obviously very, very excited, and I'm very, very excited for next week as well, because Charlie, you know what happens when it's just me and you? Things get a wee bit crazy.
Things do get a wee bit crazy, and but it's going to be good. And it says you guys have those thumbs down guys too. Yeah, but do you know what? Right, like it's all good, right? We're not always going to be everyone's cup of tea. You give us the thumbs up, it's great. You give us the thumbs down, it's great as well. But all we ask is, if you're giving the thumbs down, just let us know why you've given us the thumbs down. Did you not enjoy the content? Did we say something that wasn't true to the review of the comic? Did you not like the content we was putting out? Just tell us why you're giving us the thumbs down. It's all good.
I think it probably has something to do with that picture behind you that looks a bit like a bloke with a sack on his head. What's that all about?
I can't pick as much as I'd love to. I even bought a suitcase full of comics with my little weasels for me to put up, but there's nowhere for me to put up. So I was even contemplating sticking the comics to them picture frames, but I didn't have no glue tack or Gorilla Tape. So it's not happening. So I bought my comics with me. I was going to put them up on here because I thought there'd be a shelf for me to put my comics up on, as I do every week, but there wasn't. But yeah, we're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. If you want to put the thumb down, 1 thumbs down, 2 thumbs down, let us know. It's all good. It's all good. It's the Killer Comic Show. We bring the heat every single week. We bring the content that you need. We bring the content that you love. It's the people show on a Thursday night, because what else are you going to be doing at 9 o'clock until 10:30 on a Thursday night than chilling with me and my 2 quality mates? So, yeah. And on that note, I think we should just take our hat off, wave, do whatever you want to do to these lovely people in the chat, and let them know that we'll see them next week. See you later.
Stay safe.